You gonna have any fights this week? Oh man, we gotta have some fights.
What is up, Raider Nation? It is the show before an actual game. An actual game, man.
One that matters.
How do you feel, Asylum?
Hey, that matters. I'm excited for the season. We've been waiting for this. No more backups. No more seeing what people could do. Starters going to be in for the whole time. And schemes are going to start being shown. And we're going to see what actually has gone down during all this practice and training camp and preseason games and everything from there. It's time to get started.
I know, and it's we're going against a coach that could have been our coach. It's crazy how the NFL, everything got, it's like the whole drama, like a whole soap opera. But I can't wait this Sunday. I can't wait. It's gonna be great. It's not at 8, it's at 1, but I was trying to rhyme. But anyways. All right then. Well, let's go into our favorite segment, the shameless plug. Here we go. Wait, ready? Where's it at? Okay, here we go. Go.
Okay, everyone, go to the YouTube channel, The Cage Match Show. Like, share, subscribe, give a thumbs up, hit that bell so you know every time that a new video or short drops, you'll be able to watch it. If the NFL tries to shut us down like they like to do sometimes, you can catch us on Facebook at the Oakland Raiders Savage page or the Asylum page.
We got X screen. Never mind. Sorry.
X screen. Well, just in case. I put it out there as a just in case. And don't forget, after the show, go to WGG. Check out what they got. When you're done ordering, make sure you put Cage Match, one word, in the discount code to get 10% off of your whole order. Do your thing.
And remember, it's the start of the season, and we want to make sure that we go 17-0. And then remember, when you think of wins, you think of dubs. And when you think of dubs, think of Dubby. Get that energy like Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins and Minshew, because he brings energy, and AP on the sideline. Get it all together, all in one energy ball. Make sure you go to Cage Match, one word, in discount code, 10% off your order. Go there. And also shouts out to the Compa Fabian. Go to www.rn4lifer.com. Go there and check out his catalog, because his merch is on fire. And like I always say, I only wear hats from the man himself. Go to rn4lifer.com, Raider Nation forlifer.com. And also shouts out to Raiderman19, Raiderman19.com. He should be starting his podcast soon, but he's also a big part of this show. So if he not on there, you can catch him on here. The Rated Man from Richmond podcast. He also has merch for his oath that you hear at the end of our intro. And I know we only we're what 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away from the first home game. We're trying. At least get one game where he's on the torch, lighting that torch, doing the oath. Can you imagine him doing the oath in front of 65,000 people at Allegiant Stadium, bringing an Oakland mystique to the new Raider Way in Las Vegas as the powers combine, the mega powers. Oh, yeah. So we're trying to do that because he's a big supporter of our show, and Raider Man is an OG from the old school. There's an old food that is so cool. So make sure you go. No, make sure you go. We got to try to find out how to do that, but that's what we're trying to do. And get ready, Raider Nation, because this Sunday at 105 Pacific, hopefully it's on TV because you know how they do us over here in the Bay, in LA. Well, it'll probably be on LA because of the Chargers, but in the Bay, Asylum in Kansas. So, you know, we got to find a way to watch it. And with the whole NFL Sunday ticket thing going on,
people are still buying Sunday ticket. They have to. No choice.
I might have to dip it to the 401k just for one season. Hope no one heard it.
That's why I ended up, with the watch parties and everything, I ended up finding somebody who ended up getting Sunday tickets, so I never have to worry about that. I just got to show up.
Well, if I can get aluminum foil with the antler, the rabbit ears on a TV and run some electricity through it, maybe I can. I don't know. We'll see.
You need 1.78 gigawatts.
1 point. Going back to the future there. All right. Well, of course, this is a big week because the Raiders are playing their very first game. And of course, with that, we need a guest that will be hitting as hard as the Raiders should be doing against these Chargers because we smacked them around 63-21 last year. But we're going to SoFi. But you know who she is. She is our favorite, I want to say guest because she is a regular. She has a home here on the Cage Match. Let's introduce her with her intro. Miss Peggy, let's go. What is that, Miss Peggy?
Oh, what's up is looking at this season. The football season is finally here. We are so excited. And let me tell you, I'm going to kick it right off. What I said to you gentlemen before, the Chargers are not the Chargers we have seen before. Not that I've ever been scared of anybody in the AFC West. I just can't go there. But you got to look at this Charger team a little bit differently. And, of course, it starts at the top with Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
And we need to talk about that because with him comes the kind of organization and the game planning and the experience that the Chargers haven't had at coaching for a long time. We got no newbies. We don't know Anthony Lynn's, no Staley's. They've got a guy who has a plan. And with him, he bought Greg Roman back on the board for, what is 16 guys? Is this like the sixth time that Lazarus has come back from the dead? Not only that, but Roman brought in his own running backs, his own coaching staff. They brought in Will Disley from Seattle. They strengthened that tight end core. The only issue is that wide receiving core, and Solomon, you were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, well, they're lacking in the wide receiving. Or they've lost their two big receivers that they had. Yeah. And I'm kind of nervous about the run game though, with the way our run defense was struggling, even with the starters in and everything. That's going to be a shit that needs to get tightened up real quick because, that's going to be flashbacks to LaDainian Tomlinson if you give him a chance.
Ooh.
He bought in both running backs from Baltimore, and I'm sure these names are familiar. Those of you who watch around the league, Gus Edwards, and he bought Dobbins, J.K. Dobbins with him. Now, the knock on them, of course, is they can't stay healthy.
Especially J.K. Dobbins.
Like, that's a surprise over there in San Diego, over there with the Chargers. That's not new. Their hospital ward stays filled all season long. That's just perennial. But if they can keep Edwards and Dobbins healthy, that's a nasty 1-2 punch. What are you thinking, Savage? I mean,
well, especially going into this first game with the status of Justin Herbert and how his foot's going to be. I know they're going to try to start off with running the ball in the middle, testing our new D tackles or our new D tackle Wilkins. So, and that's basically hardball is running up the middle, running backs, and yeah, I can see the Chargers coming out and trying to establish that run game and control the line of scrimmage against us, because a lot of folks, and I know they're looking at tape from last year, they're not really looking at preseason games, but I know a lot of folks who are watching the preseason games, us Raider fans and stuff, were like, oh, our run defense don't look all that great. I don't know, with Harbaugh coming in. So, I mean, a lot of people, I don't say a lot of people, but some folks, and of course it's a division game, and it's in SoFi where we don't have the greatest record, 1-4. So I know it could be a game of concern, but do you think with Harbaugh in his first year, he has to, establish his offense and install that they'll be able to not run on all cylinders, but at least run their offense good enough to compete with our defense?
I mean, I definitely, I know the kind of thinking that Harbaugh brings, and it's a balance. He's going to probe and test. All the first quarter, all you're going to see is probing and testing. They're going to test over the middle. They're going to, of course, test in the middle of our D-line. And, of course, now that we have Spillane at middle linebacker instead of Diablo, my hopes are high that they probably will be denied. The key is gap control, guys. You know what it is.
Yeah.
And how quickly our linebackers recognize and fill those gaps. And of course, our old friends the Chargers are trying once again to build that offensive line. They drafted Joe Alt, right? First round, he's starting at left tackle. Bless his heart.
And he's already made comments about Crosby and everything, so he might get his welcome to the NFL if he ain't had it yet coming from Crosby.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not laughing. He may be the phenom, but I'm sorry. The game is different at the pro level. I don't care how good you were in college. I hear that, but there's going to be some adjustment. And of course, every week he'll be facing, a new set of guys at the same level he is. So we're gonna get a chance to see whether he was worth that. What did they pick him? Number 5, was it? Where did Chargers pick?
Yeah, I think they were 5 or 7, something like 5 or 7.
Well, I mean, it was top 10 for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll see whether he was worth a top 10 pick. The thing about the Chargers, though, that is one cursed franchise, and I'm just gonna say it out loud. They need to have a priest to exorcise whatever demons are haunting them and have haunted them since 1963. And I just can't, until I see them really stand up, and I think Harbaugh gives them a good chance to really stand there and fight through the fourth quarter, down the stretch in December, start winning some playoff games. It's the same old Chargers to me.
I just think when Al Davis came over from the Chargers to the Raiders, and he even took their shield and made it our own, the Raiders shield, that we know, the outline of the shield that we know today, I think that was their heart right there. And like you said, yeah, they can go and they can be regular season champions, but going into the playoffs, one Super Bowl appearance. They get destroyed by the Niners in '94. So, yeah, the Chargers will look at, and that's another thing about where I question, well, not question, but it goes to the question of like a Dan Fouts going into the Hall of Fame before a Jim Plunkett because he don't have no rings. The Raiders knocked him out of the AFC Championship game. I think 1980, I believe was he playing in? I know the Raiders beat the Chargers in the championship game that year to go on to the Super Bowl. So the Chargers are just a team. If you have a fantasy football team, get them for stats. But as for their fans being fans of wins and losses, well, going into the playoffs ain't gonna happen. So that's what I think.
Well, at the end of this game, though, you also want to quiet down half of Raider Nation, and you're going to hear the other half of Raider Nation. Whoever wins the game, you are going to end up hearing, see, that was the right choice or the wrong choice of head coach. Because Raider Nation was split when it came to AP and Harbaugh. Harbaugh wins. All you're going to hear is those Harbaugh fans coming up and saying, see, I told you that's who we needed to get. Da-da-da-da.
No, we never. I don't think we ever had a chance at Harbaugh. Harbaugh's not thinking about coming into a dysfunctional organization, of Al Davis type organization. I mean, he's a shirt and tie guy. He's not a guy, that'll sit out and smoke a blunt with you on the corner after the game is over. He was destined for the Chargers. I think that the owners knew it. They were going to get rid of Staley anyway. I mean, Staley was gone at the end of the season. I think those owners were already in talks with him. Harbaugh knew he had to bail.
Atlanta Falcons situation.
Well, Harbaugh knew he had to bail from Michigan. No matter what anybody says, he knew he had to go. So I think that the Chargers already kind of had him locked up. And this was before that 63-point disaster that got Staley and Telesco, now our GM, shown the door immediately. Okay? They were gone anyway at the end of the season. I think it was already a done deal with Harbaugh. I don't think we ever had a chance to get him. That's just my opinion, but that's something that we have to think about. Now, while I'm on the air, I'm going to give a shameless plug of my own to the Baltimore. Shout out to the Northern Virginia Raiders Booster Club for putting together the Raider Weekend in Baltimore, okay? Which is 25 miles up the road from me. Lots of people coming to Baltimore for opening day and next weekend. And I just wanted them to know that they need to go to the Northern Virginia Boosters group page on Facebook or the DC Raider Nation group page for all the events, tailgates, parties, everything for that weekend. Now back to what we were talking about, which is what kind of Charger team's going to show up.
Well, I want to go back to what you were saying, Harbaugh not wanting to go to because we had the dysfunction with McDaniels and that whole ordeal and everything.
You don't want to go into that.
Well, no. But do you think that the Chargers ownership is just as dysfunctional with the way that because it's been reported by Hondo that when they going through their salary cap situations, that wasn't Telesco, that was more the ownership, because who was above GM? It's the ownership. Pay this guy, pay this guy, pay this guy, pay this guy.
Well,
salary
they
cap
had a
hell.
guy dedicated to handling salaries and doing all that. They had a specific guy dedicated to that, and he's the one who's put all Telesco said was, "I got this guy, pawned him off on him, the contract to come out, and then the guy go get started." So I mean, yeah, it was not Telesco who put them in salary cap hell.
And let's face it, both the Spanoses have really been dedicated to daddy, now son, to keeping talent locked up on their team. You could see it from the 80s the way they kept that marvelous group together, Air Coryell, right? Straight through the 90s when they started, they brought Schottenheimer in, they brought Turner in, Phillip Rivers, they got rid of Drew Brees, always with tons and tons of talent. And it's really been hard for them to let these guys go.
Yeah.
So they're always trying to find a way, even with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, where did Keenan go, by the way? Where did Keenan Allen go?
Chicago.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
The graveyard for the Allen Robinsons of the world. But anyway, I digress. Got to have a quarterback, right? But it won't matter anyway because Keenan will be hurt by Game 5 anyway. Where did Mike Williams go? where did Mike Williams go?
He went to God, I know it was it. No, it wasn't the Colts. It was I forgot where he went to.
But they were enormous. These guys were re-signed to enormous contracts.
Was it the Ravens?
I'm not sure. I've got to find them. But they were signed to enormous contracts. I mean, I get the feeling they escalated the wide receiver salary battle. Why in the world would you pay a guy that misses at least 5 to 6 games every year?
Yeah.
Did he go to the Jets?
Thank you,
Logan.
Yeah.
And why would you pay a guy who's missing 5, 6 games a year, sometimes whole seasons, the kind of money that Keenan got and Mike Williams got? All right. That kind of decision making has been going on. And was it Telesco? No. I think somebody was telling him, re-sign Keenan, re-sign Mike Williams, go get Mac, right? Who got a hefty price tag, and Boza, right?
Who I think is starting off injured, is he?
Is he injured again?
No, I don't think he's injured. I think he's starting, but he's one block away from getting injured again.
Of course. I mean, Kaiser Permanente love these guys. They fill up their hospital ward in no time. Every time you turn and look at the Charger O-line, I saw a stat the other week that from Charger fans that they have an average of at least 6.7 games missed by the entire O-line for the last 5 years. Each O-lineman, on average, misses 6 games. That's the kind of injury rate. And guys, I mean, do you blame your conditioning coach? Who do you blame for that?
Yeah, strength and
I've never
conditioning.
understood.
Your conditioning coach, your position coach, because if he's not teaching them how to do the blocks
Proper
right,
technique.
get off right, stuff like that, that's going to lead to an injury. Them probably not prepping because they play for the Chargers and just say, fuck it, we're just going to play it in.
And I looked it up. Joey Bosa did have a broken hand, but he should be playing going into this game on Sunday. But he does have a hand situation, hoping for wins. I'm joking. Anyways.
And folks, wait a minute. We're going to not only see Khalil, our old friend Khalil, but Perryman is now their linebacker.
Yes.
Who I could never understand why we got rid of.
I don't know why we got rid of him. Or Ngakwe. I don't know. I don't understand why we got rid of him either. Chandler Jones was not an upgrade.
CT is not real.
But I know that with the Chargers, it's just a question of staying together long enough to form a cohesive gel. That's why I just can't take them seriously. I want to. I mean, there are AFC opponents, but between that and the priest that they need for the exorcism.
Well, and going into this game, we know they're going to start off one-dimensional. You said it earlier about trying to find holes with that plantar fasciitis that Herbert has. He's not going to be mobile. He's not going to be able to go. He might be able to throw, but it's going to turn him into a statue in the pocket He's not going to be able to do all the little things he does. So they've turned themselves one-dimensional. And hopefully, if we could focus on that and stack that box and do everything else, we could take this game easily and prove that the Chargers are the. I'm not saying we're going to win by 63 goddamn points again. It'd be nice to start the season off that way, but I just like a good, solid defense coming in, offense doing their job. We're stopping them and just playing, basically letting their defense try to stop us.
Yeah,
well, go ahead.
Going off of that, what Asylum was saying is, if he's not going to be able to move around in the pocket as much as he's used to, that means it's probably going to be a lot of quick strikes, like crossing routes, in the middle, trying to do that more of a West Coast, old school West Coast, where just dump it off and have them go for yards out the catch. So that means that our linebackers, if we can get pressure up the middle, we don't have to blitz as much. Where our linebackers with Diablo and Spillane, who had 3 interceptions last year, 2 with a broken hand, can go and cover up that middle for any crossing route, whether it's a receiver, running back, and especially a tight end. So they're probably going to try to do that. If they can't run the ball, they're going to probably do them short, quick passes just to kind of throw us off, So that's another thing they could be trying to do with Herbert. He won't be able to sit back there and go deep, because if Kuntz is still like he was last year, progressing like he was last year, and Wilkins pushing up the middle, and Crosby, of course, is going to take Alt to school, he ain't going to have time to go deep. So
be doing, and then you got Butler and Adams still up there who were coming along. That defensive line. I mean, they can keep doing those quick strikes. It's going to be up to those safeties and linebackers to keep them contained and for short yardage.
Yeah.
Well, guys, for that West Coast game, the key is not just pressure, but coverage. And coverage on those short crossing routes, those routes in the flat. As far as going deep, the Chargers may surprise us a couple of times, but I mean, Keenan and Mike aren't there anymore. So they have yet to establish a deep threat. Nevertheless, we can't, we have to be mindful of that. But if it's going to be a Greg Roman kind of offense, then of course we'll need to watch that West Coast game, because that's going to make the linebackers do an awful lot of hustling.
Yeah. And of course with this, I wanted to ask, because the Chargers every year, they're from preseason, they're crowned the champions of the West, even with the Chiefs, during their right now dominant era, whatever. But I just feel like the Raiders don't get no respect, and I like the fact that we don't get respect because no one's paying attention to us. But with Harbaugh and to the media, because they're just giving, Harbaugh's in there, so the Chargers are going to be, if not first, second in the league. Between our team with AP and Harbaugh, what we built on defense, what Harbaugh's trying to instill, because he's also a new coach, but AP starting last year as the interim, now the new head coach. Are we similar, like the same as level-wise, or are they better than us, or are we just not getting that respect, so they're already crowning the Chiefs? the Chargers better than us? Like, what do you think on that one right there?
Well, Solomon, and please, cut me off, but I've always felt the Chargers for the last 60 years have had the talent. That wasn't their problem. Besides being cursed, the other part was they could never put all the pieces together at one time. There was never good coaching along with, injury-free seasons. I mean, let's face it, a lot of important people went down for them over the last couple, 10 years. They've never been able to put it all together. But the one thing that they have over us is definitely the presence of Jim Harbaugh. I mean, AP's, even
but
though
I'm
we
going to go like this.
him,
Everyone thought the same thing last year with Sean Payton when he went to, Denver and all that, and, Super Bowl this, all this other fucking shit. They thought the same thing. The problem is, this is not Harbaugh's team yet. He still has pieces that he would not even necessarily have on this team because he had no choices. They didn't have anybody to fill in. He wasn't able to get 100% his draft. He's got control and his put his fingerprint on there, but this is still yet to be his team. And I think that's what's going to hold him back this year is he's still, not to mention right now he hasn't pissed off half the team. We know how Harbaugh goes. He's hard on teams. And before you know it, everyone's going to hate him. So this window that Harbaugh has is what, 4 years? And year one is putting it together. By year, 4, 5, he's going to done pissed off everybody. Nobody's going to want to come do anything. And he's going to be looking at the Chargers looking for another head coach because nobody wants to come play for Harbaugh.
Well, and I hear y'all talking. Wait a minute. I hear y'all talking. But there's a little history behind Harbaugh if you've been watching him since San Francisco. Came in and took over that team from Singletary. Is that not correct? And in 1 year, he turned them into a playoff from a 4 and 12 team to a playoff team in 1 year. Go look at the record. This is a guy who establishes his cocoon, his philosophy with everyone from the coaching staff down. He understands how players think, how coaches think, and how it's all put together. Go look at his record when he took over from Singletary in 1 year.
He had a 7+ game, or he had 7 more wins than that previous season. But coaches coming, well, I know he was coaching with in college, like right after he left the Niners and went straight to Michigan, and he was there for a couple, 10 years. Yeah, but do you think that Harbaugh can have that same magic he did with the Niners, with the Chargers? Because and I know it's not the same thing, but like with Sean Payton going to the Broncos, like Asylum said, he only missed 1 year of coaching, so it wasn't like he had years out like John Gruden had 9 years between his 2 stints of coaching. And even though he was doing Monday Night Football, he wasn't actually doing the preparation and really doing all that, just more so for the broadcast. But do you think Harbaugh not being in the NFL system or in NFL, in the NFL for that long would hurt him coming in and trying to reestablish, trying to get to know a new generation of players from when he last coached in the NFL, and was that 2014, I believe his last year was? Do you think he can still bring that magic he did for the Niners to the Chargers and, like everyone's saying, eventually take over the Chiefs? Well, they're not saying that, but I know they're going to say that if he starts having a good record coming out the gate. But can Harbaugh still do that again? At age 60? No age shaming, just saying. At age 60?
If I'm a betting lady, which I'm not, I would not bet against Harbaugh. I'm just saying this because
I was told never bet against Brady, and I won every time I bet against Brady. So
I mean, I hear what you're saying. Can he repeat the magic that he had with the 49ers with the Chargers? 2 different organizations. He doesn't have that idiot Trent Baalke over his shoulder, right?
But he has the Spanoses.
I think he had more talent on the Niners than he does now with
and of course that voodoo black magic that no matter how well the Chargers do, something bad always happens to them. So I'm trying. You're trying to. We need to see, but he's got the talent. The horses are there, and he's got a competent offensive coordinator that I think can rejuvenate Herbert's game. Herbert lost a lot of confidence last year. I mean, Staley nearly destroyed him. I mean, if it wasn't for the injury that finally took him off for the last 5 games, I think he would have been throwing 4 interceptions a game by the time it was all over. That's a far cry from the phenom that he looked like the first 2 years that I saw him playing. And, I even told people that I felt that Herbert was a better quarterback than Mahomes. And for the discipline of it, if I'm going to build an offense, Mahomes is a, you know, advisor. He's a guy that makes it up as he's going along. But if I want to discipline offense, I want Herbert as my quarterback.
Oh yeah, with Herbert, you're not getting no look passes, no behind the back passes. You're not getting anything stupid like that. You know that when they work, everyone is, oh my God, did you see this? But when they don't, then it's oh, we'll give him a pass because whatever. Herbert, yeah, you give him a system to run, he's going to run the system to the best of his ability to the way you're wanting, and that's good. I think Herbert does have a chance of being better than Mahomes in the right system. Now that might be with Harbaugh, because Harbaugh has been known as, being a former quarterback. He's kind of considered one of those quarterback guru kind of coaches. Exactly. And so, maybe Herbert's finally in a system where it could go, but it's still going to take Herbert a year or two to figure out this system and be able to get everything going. And not to mention, you still have to have those weapons on the outside in order for Herbert to do anything.
Well, no, we won't say they don't have the weapons. Let's be charitable. We don't know who those guys are. We just don't. And speaking of that, this would be an excellent game for Jacorian Bennett, who's going to be starting at corner, to get his feet wet again. Okay. And I think he lost a little confidence last year with how many games did he miss? 4 or 5 games?
4 or 5, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is going to be a good little comeback game for him because he really hasn't finished his baptism by fire. Okay. he kind of snuck out the door on the other 5, 6 games. So he really only had a half a season. And now he's due for another half a season, learn how to play corner. I think he has the tools. What do you think, guys?
They say he has the tools. They say they've been seeing it. He seems to have that chip on his shoulder because of last year. He wasn't happy with the way it went. He wasn't happy getting pulled after being a starter and being picked on. We have said many times on the show, being a rookie, you're going to get picked on. You're going to make rookie mistakes, and that's what I saw out of him. Now, this preseason, we saw a little bit more out of him, and I think the potential is there. And working with Marcus Epps, I know he's a safety, but Marcus Epps still helping him. And having a Jack Jones, and now we got another guy who's familiar with Patrick Graham's defense that we just got from the Giants.
Right.
I can't remember his damn name. Anyway, he's got that help there.
Oh, that's not there.
That's not
there. It's no, I don't think I have it up there.
Not Hartford. No, it's
no.
It's not
I
there.
thought
Anyways,
it was Harper, Chris Smith. I don't know.
No, I know. I remember who it was. Let me look it up.
He's got those people to be able to lean on and be able to help coach him on the field and go. And I think you're going to see a different Jacorian Bennett. I'm not going to say he's going to be a Jack Jones of last year. Okay, he's still got some work to do, but you're going to see an improved
Darnay Holmes. Darnay Holmes.
Okay.
Yeah. So you got people there who could help him and fill in and do all that kind of shit. So I think you're going to see an improved Jacorian Bennett, which if he's improved means that secondary is improved, and we just keep moving forward with that D-line doing their job, which we all know a good defensive line will help a secondary, will make a weak secondary look good.
It'll give them the time that they need to develop their knowledge of the game, the knowledge of the defenses that they're being asked to play. There's so much that a great pass rush and a great D-line does to help a secondary develop, especially when you got a Jacorian Bennett who, quite frankly, hasn't finished getting toasted. And I want people to be patient with him because he still has a lot to learn. And fortunately, we hope he will not get tested against the Chargers. His tests lie ahead. I can't even. Sam, could you put up the schedule again? When do we see the first real core of wide receivers we should actually fear? Did you see? Definitely not Baltimore.
Definitely not Carolina. Well, you're probably going to see it in
maybe
either
the Browns.
Yeah.
Okay, but the quarterback situation is weak. I wouldn't go there. I'm thinking it's either going to be LA or the Steelers.
Yeah. Well, the Steelers too ain't got a great quarterback situation. Russell Wilson has been named.
Well, Russell just kind of subbing, until the Steelers find something better to do. Because after all, the Broncos are paying them. I couldn't be happier. They're giving him $37 million just to play for the Steelers. I mean, anything that makes it, I can't really see a core wide receivers or quarterback they should fear until they get to week 8. What do you think?
Yeah.
Well, I still think LA.
Yeah.
I mean, LA, the Rams, they got a couple of, they got Cup, they got.
Yeah.
They got a couple. And then as long as Jimmy Garoppolo's not playing, they got a good chance with quarterback.
So, I mean, this is a good developmental sprint for our rookie corner. And I hope he takes advantage of, the chances to learn, because he's going to need them against the Rams in Kansas City for sure. And then, of course.
And the Bengals and Miami. I mean, that's a 4-game stretch right there. That defense, especially that secondary, is really going to get tested between with the wide receivers and quarterbacks and everything else in there. That's a stretch there that could make or break their season.
Well, if everybody recalls last year's Miami game, I was proud of the Raiders because that's when I knew the defense had turned the corner. They held the NFL's most explosive offense under 20 points. I mean, was it under 20? I think it was, and I think that's when I knew that we had a defense. The same characters are there. Tua's still there. Yeah. Tyreek's still there. And I mean, I think you just do what you did last year. I'm not sure whether Jacorian was in that game. We're asking a lot of Jack Jones, though, aren't we?
Well, I was going to ask, do you see a situation where Jack Jones is kind of like that Asamoah when Asamoah was that guy that shut down half the field and Stanford Route was getting all the balls and all the throws where it made it look like Stanford Route was a great cornerback because he was just seeing the action and Asamoah wasn't seeing no action because the offenses weren't stupid enough to throw his way. Do you see a situation like that where maybe Jacorian Bennett will get tested throughout, this early part of the season because no one's going to try to go over there to Jack Jones? He got an interception in preseason. So,
but Dolphins win the game with 20 points, 20-13.
Right.
So we kept them under 20 points for most of the game.
I mean, as opposed to what happened to our brethren in Denver. When 73? They played them, I know God don't like ugly, but I just, I can't say nothing. And I have some very good friends that are Bronco fans. And if y'all are listening, I still love you, but I cannot tell you how badly your franchise has been run for the last, since Pat Bowlen got sick, okay, and withdrew from running the day-to-day business of the franchise, and that was back in 2016.
Yeah,
and I don't think the Broncos have ever recovered from that, and the Waltons buying the team doesn't seem to help. I just think they just gave Surtain a big fat contract today, didn't they?
Yeah, he's the highest paid, basically DB in the NFL right now, non-quarterback kind of situation. I think he got like an $80-something million extension.
And that's what I'm saying. So they've made so many errors. And like I said, with Denver, when I saw Sean Payton would rather have Zach Wilson on his roster than Russ Wilson, then I knew Houston, we have a problem. Okay?
Yeah, it was Surtain was 4 years, $96 million.
96, okay.
That's a lot of money for a corner, guys. I mean, that's going to jack the corner market up.
Well, and that's going to hurt them
Really.
too in the long run. You're giving a corner that kind of money, and you need how many more positions to be able to go? I mean, that's almost quarterback. I mean, that's low end fucking top tier quarterback money right there. And you're talking about one guy on the defense. He can't do everything. Jesus.
But this is just more the same from Denver. Bad decisions being made by that front office. They just don't
Bo
make.
Nix is the answer.
They got the curse of John Elway. That's what it is. It's the John Elway curse.
I mean, to tell you, and wait a minute, they didn't even draft John Elway. So,
Nope.
You can't even give them real credit for that at all. It was like, I'm not playing.
John
for
Elway
the
was supposed to be a
Irs.
Raider.
Right? This John Elway's dad is like, we're not playing for the Irs, okay? So and Denver picked him up, and the rest is history. But let's face it, look how long it took for Denver to find the right formula for Elway to win a Super Bowl. I mean, Dan Reeves, right? And then they went through Shanahan. It took them a little while to find the formula that they needed. And it's always been like that for them. Have talent, don't know what to do with it. Same thing with our brethren over in the Chargers. They just don't know what to do with it. And I have to say, we've been the last 20 years, I'm going to say it out loud, the least talented of all the AFC West teams. I can say that just point blank. Okay? Not to mention badly coached, but we've been the least talented. But we've been able to hold our own.
Yeah.
We've been able to hold our own, even though, I mean, I could see us getting way, way more talent, which we did up front. I've been begging for that for 10 years. You don't know how happy I am for that. But I think that we can see a game, like you said, on Sunday, where we actually, it's going to be determined on the ground. I don't know whether, I'm pretty sure we can run against San Diego, especially with Mack and Bosa up front. I've never been worried about them. Derwin James is healthy. Clap, 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 clap.
Well, I mean, with Zamir White taking over for where's my graphics? Zamir White taking over for Jacobs, young legs, and then you have Madison, or Madison.
Right,
Madison.
Madsen. I don't know. I call him Madsen.
And they're gonna go by committee, so I can see the Raiders being able to go toe to toe with them on the running game. We have Amir.
I think our run game is better than what people are giving them credit for right now.
Absolutely.
I mean, everyone's going because Jacobs is gone. Our run game is going down the point. I think Matson's a good number 2. That was a good pickup. Zamir White proved it last year that he could do it as long as he had the chance and keeping him going. And he's a bruiser. I mean, he's that north-south runner more than trying to go east-west. You see his head always moving. He's not afraid to take the hit, get the yards after. Amir, Amir, great at catching out of the backfield. So is Matson on that. And then you got Dylan Labe as that, people call him like a human joystick, that X factor right now that nobody knows what the hell to expect out of him. But when he seems to get the ball in his hands, he gets yards, and that's what you want is yards. I just want to see yards, positive yards.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. I don't have any problem with Getsy in the running game. I think he knows what he's doing there. Remember, as I quoted the stat before, he had the number in 2022. The Bears had the number 2 rushing game, and in 2023 they had the number 1 rushing game, and 40% of that was quarterback, of course. But that's not not the problem that I'm having with Getsy. I'm having a problem with how he imagines the passing game. He went from 26th to 30th in passing. His passing game didn't get better, and you cannot blame it all on Fields. You have to put some blame on the design, the play design, the offensive design. I want to see what Getsy does with Bowers, right? I want to see what he does with those two tight ends, besides using them to bruiser block, right? For his running game. I want to see them in the flat, opening up some lanes. I want to see Trey 60 yards downfield. I want to see Dante finally doing what he does best, never running the same route twice, keeping the quarters guessing. And I want to see how he integrates that passing game. I think Raider fans are going to want to look, because that's Gessy's weak point, developing a passing game. And it does start with the quarterback. We don't know.
Well, I think we're seeing a little bit of that in preseason. You did see Bowers line up as a receiver, line up on the line, line up in the backfield. It did look like he had plans to use Bowers in any way, possible. So, let's see that. We did see some deep balls to Trey Tucker, especially with Minshew and everything. We saw O'Connell throw one. So I think those plans are there. And if he lets Devontae Adams be Devontae Adams,
right.
I think that's, like you said, not running the same route twice, letting him just do what he does to get open and do, that's going to help out. And as long as Minshew could be able to distribute the ball to all these people, we have an immense amount of talent on the offensive side. If he could distribute the ball and keep from throwing interceptions and fumbling the ball, and run the ball when it needs to be done, when, going and not just rolling out to roll out, I think the chances, the biggest thing is with this offense, we just have to score more than goddamn 20 points. We know the defense can hold teams. We just got to make sure we can score more. And that's what it's going to come down to, I think, in this Getsy offense is, can you score more than 20 points in a game to be able to do this and let your defense do what it does and keep a team, under 20 points?
That's going to be the key for me. When I watch the game, I'm going to be watching what is the passing game doing. Because, again, I think that if you're going to move the ball, get defenses to start fearing us again, because, they had no fear for us last year. That's how you're going to do it. You're going to move them off of that line of scrimmage by actually being a deep threat. We got Devontae. They know what Jacoby can do. And they got Trey coming out of the slot. I love it. Oh, perfect.
And ever since Trey got that damn eye surgery, it seems to have helped him out. He seems to be able to track the ball a lot better now. So,
I'll be more focusing on offensive line. I know everyone's saying quarterback because quarter and corner is our weakness, but I want to see how the offensive line comes together. I don't know if JPJ, it's doubtful that he'll play because he's still getting his practice in. He is out there on the field.
He is out there, okay. Yeah.
You're gonna have Miller on the left, Colton Miller on the left. With that shoulder coming back, and then you're gonna have what I think it's Mumford. I know the depth chart came out, and I forgot to look it up, but the Mumford on the right. So one of those guys is gonna go after Khalil Mack, and I know we're not gonna have like on that first game against him when we were in LA, when McDaniels didn't put no help on that side when O'Connell was back there, and Minshew's gonna be able to run around. But I'll be more focusing on the offensive line. I think that will be the key to the Raiders winning this game, is that offensive line being able to make holes for these running backs and keep because Minshew's going to be moving around, but at least keep him untouched on their own, because Minshew's going to probably go into a blocker, go into a defender when he goes to his right. But as long as the line can keep that pocket clean, I think that is going to be the key of this game. The defense, we know what the defense can do. Our defense can do. So I think it's more based on our offensive line and whatever lineup they put out there, what they can do against the Chargers defense, especially when it comes to the ends. I think that'll be the key to the Raiders winning this game and starting 1-0, especially in the division.
You're right. And let me just on my parting words, because I've got to run, but one thing I also want people to watch just watch the chemistry between Minshew and Devontae. It will be fun and exciting if they've done it right. Because Devontae doesn't run the same route, then there has to be a feeling between them. You don't have to put the ball on Devontae's hands. You just need to put it in his area. And that's a fine distinction. That's how good of a receiver he is. I'm wondering, I mean, Jacoby is precise on his roots, right? That New England way. He's going to be where you want him to be, and he's going to help you out a lot. But it's Devontae that's going to be the game changer. If he and Minshew develop a chemistry, and if Minshew can get that ball right when he's making his break, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Take a look at that on Sunday. And with that, I've got to go, guys. And you know I love it. And I will see you in 2 weeks.
All right, Miss Peggy.
We will do this again. And say some prayers for our Bronco brethren. They're going to need it.
We'll have a safe field trip at the glue factory.
All right. And we will see everybody who's coming to Baltimore. I'll see you there.
All righty. Take care. Let me give you your outro right here. Oh, look, it's so seamless the way I got these things moving around. Thank you, Miss Peggy. Let me do that applause one more time. All right. One thing I wanted to say was, Devontae Adams is gonna be fired up because remember in the offseason when they did their schedule release video, whatever they said it was something with the Pop-Tart and it said like garbage or whatever, and it was aimed at Adams, and Adams was like, okay, yeah, all right, that's cool. Because I torture you guys all the time. That's cool. So, yeah, I think Adams is going to have a big game, and they're going to make sure that Adams has a big game. So,
see, and that's the one thing I don't want to see. We saw it a lot last year, is pushing Adams and pushing to get the ball to Adams. Nothing against Adams, but there was times that other players were open. We could have better plays, and it was a bad throw to Adams. And I'm not putting it all on Adams, but, Adams dropped the ball. Bad throw to Adams. It just was overhead, different things. But trying to push to Adams, that allows the teams to focus on one person. And that's what eventually helped Jacoby. But that's what I'm going to say. If we can spread this ball and just get it to the open receiver, get it to the guy, use Adams, use Jacoby, use Bowers, use Trey Tucker, use Zamir White, Abdullah, Matson, use Mayers, bring in McAllister. I'd like to see that. We didn't see anything out of Wilkinson last year, who was the standout out from the season from that. So if we could sit here and just get the ball to these people, let your playmakers make plays, right? That's what they say. Get the ball to your playmakers and let them make plays. Let's see that happen. Minshew, I expect to see him running. I mean, it's going to happen. I just want to see him smart about it. Run when the lane's open. Nothing else is there. You go get your yards. Stop rolling out into defenders. Stop rolling out just to fucking roll out. Stay in the pocket when you need to. And if it's not there, find that gap. Hit your run. Get 3 or 4 yards. Get back up. Get in the huddle and start it all over again.
Yeah, and I just think a lot of that with last year forcing the ball to Adams because that was how the coach we had before AP took over was. But going into this new season.
We did it a little bit with AP as well.
Yeah, but we also had an offense that was under construction each week. So, but going into the new season, the 65th season as the Raiders, kind of like a whole new drama that everything was going on throughout the season. Let's do a little recap of what happened. Kind of like the new season of the the new season of the Las Vegas Raiders. Let's go through a recap from an old little buddy of ours, Asylum's insider.
Guess who's back? Back again. This is Asylum Shady, and I'm here to recap on what the hell happened last season. Coach Josh McDaniels started off the 2023 season by getting often injured Jimmy Garoppolo to replace Derek Carr as the starting quarterback. How injured was he? The man was injured before he signed with the team and missed his first start as a Raider in his introductory press conference. Come on, man. Here is a picture of his only highlight as a Raider. Anyways, after a 3-5 record, Mark Davis finally decided to fire McDaniel and also General Manager Dave Ziegler on mine and Raider Nation's favorite night, Halloween night. Linebacker coach Antonio Pierce was elevated to interim head coach, and also Champ Kelly, who was Ziegler's assistant, to interim GM, and AP bented Jimmy for rookie Aiden O'Connell to starting QB. The Raiders went on their own 5-4 record and was a surprise playoff contention team until week 17. Raider Nation and also Raider players made it known that we all wanted Antonio Pierce to be the permanent head coach, and Mark Davis decided to roll with AP and also hired former Chargers general manager Tom Telesco to the same position. They went out and signed in free agency defensive tackle Christian Wilkins from Miami and quarterback Gardner Minshew from Indianapolis, and then drafted tight end Brock Bowers, the best player available, with the number 13 pick. Now, with Minshew being named the starter going into the 2024 season, we start the new era of Raider football this Sunday in Los Angeles, our second home versus the Chargers. It's time, Raider Nation, let's go.
What up, little guy over there? Little Asylum Shady. Guess who's back?
The real Asylum, please stand up. Please stand up.
That was your recap of the 2023 season, just in case you forgot there. Or maybe you tried to forget and we just reminded you and opened up an old wound. I don't know. But with the emergence of AP when he took over, this team had a turnaround going into the end of the season. Points allowed, on the defense, points allowed minus 15. Sorry, that's me. Points allowed 15.3 first, takeaways 13, tied for 6, defensive touchdowns 4. That's number 1. Sacks 24, tied for 5th, and penalties were down. They've played a more aggressive game, but the penalties went down. They're only at 24, which was first in the league. A Raider team with first in the league in less penalties.
I was going to say, usually we lead the league in penalties.
Usually we lead the league in penalties.
But bring that back up. That talks about what I was just talking about earlier with, points allowed right there, 15.3. Do I expect it to be that low? No. But if we can keep them at, 17 to 20 points and score more than 20 points, that's what I was talking about winning. Another thing, it says 6, but that 13 takeaways, all that shit jumped up considerably once AP took over. We started seeing it during the preseason. We were getting takeaways, fumbles, interceptions, blocked field goals, shit like that. So, those are kind of the, two biggest. And if we could even lead in defensive TDs, so we'll say those are the 3 biggest, key things right there for your defense. And if we could do that, there's no reason why. I know we joke about 17-0, but there ain't no reason why we can't go fucking 13, 14, 15 wins if all that could go. That's if. I'm not saying we will. I have my record. I know what I said, and I stick by it. I'm just saying those are you do that kind of shit. There are games that we were told we were guaranteed to lose. Those are the kind of games we could squeak by and win if we could do that kind of shit.
Yeah, and I wanted to go back to what Anna had said in the comments. She was asking, where to go?
Trap game?
Yeah, you got it?
No, but I know where to. I just passed it, damn it.
Yeah, I leave it too. Well, Anna had asked, if you find it, then put it up. But Anna had asked, do you see this game number 1 as a trap game? And the Raiders' record just going into LA as is. SoFi Stadium hasn't been the greatest of venues for the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, going into LA, and which is crazy because that stadium's going to be blacked out. It's always blacked out because that's where the Raiders were at for 13 years, from 1982 until 1994.
We were the first team to bring them a Super Bowl.
First team to bring a Super Bowl in 1983 when they beat the Washington so-and-sos.
Redskins.
The Redskins, the Red Commanders. But as you see here,
the highest scoring offense of that year.
Yeah, they only scored 9 points in the Super Bowl. Defending champions only scored 9 points in that Super Bowl. That's great. But as you see here, the Raiders did what their first time going to SoFi. They did get that win against the Chargers, 31-26. But then since then, they've lost to the Chargers 3 times, of course, because they go there every year. But of course, everyone remembers that Thursday night game when Baker Mayfield just got off the plane, put his helmet on, and drove the offense down the field in that 2-minute drill. Thank you, Tillery, for giving him an extra 15 yards on that knocked the ball out the guy's hand play and personal foul, but unnecessary, whatever it is, personal foul. No, yeah, unsportsmanlike conduct, penalty. So they lost to the Rams, and we do have the Rams again this year in SoFi. But starting off the season, and on my other graphic, I had put up that the Raiders do own the record, but it is close. Starting with the Chargers in Week 1, 5-4 record. Do you see them being at the Raiders being at SoFi? Do you see any issue there, or do the Raiders, speaking of exercising demons, do they exercise their demons in this first game going down there to SoFi and SoCal against I got no rhyme for the Chargers.
It's the choking chicken.
The choke the chicken in the Holy Roller game. But how do you what do you see them going down to SoFi? I know it's probably just a mental thing or whatever. We'll just tying up things together.
I think being the first game of the season is one of those helpful things. They have a lot to fucking prove. They're dealing with their head. Like I said, I know Peggy gives him a lot of credit, but I mean, we've seen it with just about every coach. When God damn it, what's his goddamn name? Patriots' old coach,
Belichick.
Thank you. When he finally gets a job, somewhere else, not many coaches. I know Harbaugh did it once, but I think he had more talent on the team with the 49ers than he does now. When the talent's there, it's a lot easier to go, and he kept a lot of that talent coming out. This is a team that wasn't his. He didn't, he brought in some people. He's going to have to, I've even heard rumors that he started rubbing some players the wrong way already. But again, that's a rumor. But, I just think that first game, they ain't going to have time to get everything going. They're just trying to get, things going. They're trying to implement Harbaugh. You got Herbert who's hurt, and all this. I think this is the best time for us to come in and, as you put it, exercise that demon in SoFi and grab that other win. Our defense, except for not even a handful of people, 3-4 people, have played with each other and played under this coach. We have the whole thing of this whole team wanted AP as their coach, And all you ever heard from since last year is they're willing to run through a wall for this coach. So you have that continuity as well as that half of last year going into here. Now he got to do everything his way. This is more, his hands is more on this team going. So he has that extra, half a year over Harbaugh. I think this is a chance right now. I think playing the Chargers later on in the season is going to be a lot harder than this game right here.
Yeah, and AP had said earlier today in his press conference, I asked him, how do you prepare for a team with a coach? He hasn't been in the NFL, he's been in college, and this is the first game of the season. How do you prepare for a team being a first-year coach? And he said, well, we just got to look at all the different types of tape. Look at Michigan tape. Might have to look at San Francisco tape from back in the day. See his tendencies. See how he, calls plays, or how he manages the game.
What he likes to do on third and long, third and short, second and long, second and short. Does he like to come out and run the ball first? Run, and then go? Is he going to test, like Peggy was saying, is he going to test all three levels to see where that, where they're struggling and try to attack that? And then, as I saw the pressers today, and I think it was Christian Wilkins turned around and said, we're going to have to be able to adjust during the game. And that's what I think is going to happen, because Harbaugh's going to pull out every trick that he knows to try to, stay relevant and in the game, and if not, a chance to win the game. So you have to be able to make adjustments, which was one thing we said it about the second stint in Gruden. We definitely said it about McDaniels, was coming out at halftime, not making a single fucking adjustment when we need an adjustment. If it's working, you make minor adjustments. If it's not working, you go out there and make a major adjustment. But we wouldn't see that. And I think we'll see out of AP, and I think it's going to be a big thing coming, in this game. We're going to show that we can.
And I was going to say, and that was one thing that we did see last year with AP being the interim, is he really tried to break down the game as a player, because that's what they said he would do as a player, as a linebacker when he played for the Giants especially, is to try to find the little tendencies or whatever. And you've seen in a lot of these games, like the Miami game, he made halftime adjustments to try to run it with the defense and just have the offense control the clock. Or the same thing he did with the Christmas game that you went to, the Chiefs game. That he was all like, okay, we'll just, hit him with the running game. I don't care if my quarterback's not going to throw for whatever. You didn't have a completion after the first quarter. I don't care. I just got to get the win. That's what the mantra is just win, baby. And we've seen that AP will try to make those adjustments. And I do agree that the halftime adjustments especially will be key on securing this victory, as long as the Raiders can keep the Chargers close, or if they have that lead and they can maintain that, make into the halftime, make their adjustments. I think that those adjustments will also be key in getting this game, taking this game away, and starting 1-0, especially in the division. Like I said 20 minutes ago, in the division. But I do feel that, like you said, the adjustments are also going to be a big deal. If the Raiders can adjust, and AP, it's not just going to be AP doing it. He's going to have Marvin Lewis there, and he's going to have Philbin there for the offense. So he will have experienced coaches that's been there before in situations, or be able to break down whatever stills they get, or whatever they do on the iPad, on that Microsoft pad they have, and be able to figure out, okay, let's do this, let's do that. They do a lot of this, let's counter with that. So they're able to put that together, and AP can just manage the team on the field, while his other coaches can basically, I don't want to say teach him, but be that aid that he might need in the sideline to help out with these adjustments that needs to be made.
I think teaching is the right word in these cases. He still has to learn what it takes to be a head coach. And it started with the off season. Now it's about game management because now he has the roster. We talked about before. We know some YouTubers who had a problem with the fact he brought Tom Telesco in on making the quarterback decision. But yet a GM, and I don't have a problem with it because a GM is what? He's exposed to be able to scout talent.
Yeah.
He's the master at finding talent. That's what a GM does. Finds talent. So if he's got to find the talent that fits you, or the head coach, why wouldn't you use him to scout the talent on your team and help make an educated decision on your choices? I didn't think that was a bad move. There's a tiebreaker, there's this going, but yet it comes down, you have another set of eyes when it comes to talent. So, he's still learning. Telesco's not learning how to be a GM. He knows how to be a GM. The question is, can he be a good GM?
Yeah. And so you had said this. Well, I was going to say, you had said this 2 weeks ago with Peggy that AP had Al Davis to lean on. I'm sorry. No, John Madden had Al Davis to lean on. Al Davis being that football mind in the building, and AP has got his guys, a Marvin Lewis and a Joe Philbin, to be that almost like that type of Al Davis knowledge you can lean on in certain situations, but now they're on the field. So he can go to them in real time and be like, all right, coach, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Because like you said, AP is still learning. AP can get these guys fired up, but he still is trying to have his head coaching game well-rounded too, and that's why he has basically his coaches on the sideline, and he has that knowledge he can fall back on. So I just wanted to add that to what you were saying.
Yeah, no, and even to add on top of that too, you have the whole thing. Look at that first preseason game. What about those timeouts going into halftime, end of the game? Took unnecessary timeouts that didn't need to be done. Obviously, I'm going to assume these guys he's brought in to help teach them talked to him and said, look, those were unnecessary. You don't do that. I know that one challenge he had that he, which is a big thing. We usually don't have successful challenges. He put it out there. It was early in the game. But I think it was a good time to do it. You're learning when to call it, how to go, what you're seeing. Should I do it here, there? Having those guys, I think in the preseason, you watched him learn as a head coach. During, when you get thrown in it as the interim and you're going, you have a lot less pressure because you're really just an interim. You're trying to do good because you're trying to interview for that job.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if he would have lost every game, would that have fallen on him? No. Nobody would have blamed him at all. You have that little luxury, so you can make those mistakes and nobody dissects it like they do now. Now he's under that microscope and getting dissected, and he's learning. And he's even said it in his own things. I'm still learning as a head coach.
Yeah.
But what I'm seeing is the fact that he is actually learning as a head coach. There's some people who can't be taught, and then you got those people who could be taught. DJ Glaze, perfect example of that, and why he got drafted where he did. A player who wasn't doing shit went to the Senior Bowl. Coaches said, let me see you do this, 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 and this. Not only did he do it, but turned out to be the best player, in the Senior Bowl, and had going. And back to the insider thing I wanted to say, Brock Bowers, they were talking about, he was probably the best player in the draft overall. If it wasn't for the whole quarterback situation and teams needing quarterbacks, he was at least top, if not top 3. So you turn around and get somebody like that, and that's the shit with Telesco, letting your GM do his job. He sat pat and jumped on the thing. Best player available. Sometimes that's what you do. And sometimes that's a generational player who fell in your lap. Instead of reaching for Jamarcus Russell, he went and got the goddamn Megatron.
Yeah, that we didn't get in 2007.
Yeah.
I was trying to find that graphic with DJ Glaze, but yeah, I got to get all these organized. A lot of graphics here that are made for this show, and I have a whole collection of them. So don't worry, guys. Okay, we're getting our stuff together too for the first game of the season coming up. So
And
with
this too,
this,
I'll give Logan this one. Players feel far more open in coming to his door, addressing concerns and issues, and giving suggestions. That goes a long way, when you have players who feel they can come and talk to their coach.
yeah, and that's a big deal because that's one thing that a lot of these good coaches do is it's not always about football. Yeah, we're here to play football, but it's not always about the game. It's just about understanding these players and the players understanding what type of coach that they have leading them out there. And once they can get that bond and that comfortability, I might have made up a word right there. Comfortability. There you go.
That's a real word. That's a real word.
The players will be more inclined to, not trying to minimize war, but go to war for these coaches. Wait, did I come? I went. Wait, where am I going? Where am I? Am I still here? Yes, I am.
You're on here. You're on here. I'm gonna go. I while you figure out what you're doing, I'm gonna answer Logan's or comment on Logan saying right here. I'd rather have this right here. So let's go. I'd rather get our hit in the first round, take a swing on a player in the second and third, and then turn around and have the rest of the draft filling out your everyday players, your solid players. You get your big guy, you get the big swing, and the second and third rounds is the rounds you should be taking the chances on somebody who could be a home run. And if he doesn't pan out, at least it wasn't a first round pick. But you still have those, fourth, fifth, sixth rounds that you bring in and bring those quality players in. So if that's the way Telesco's record is, I'm glad we have them, and let's keep them.
Yeah. I mean, it's
one big hitter coming in the first round. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say is, I was going to say is the pressure, because you're saying that, players coming in and we got the tight end and all that, whatever. But sorry, I was trying to find other graphics, whatever. So I didn't miss it, but I just did it. I missed it. But is the pressure for AP? Is it more us, the fans, on him now? Say, okay, now we got the guy because we missed out on Bisaccia, and we ended up going for McDaniels. And like you said earlier, maybe some fans would be like, see, if we lose to the Chargers, we could have had Harbaugh, but we went with AP, because the players and the fans wanted him. We went with the flavor of the month and not with experience, basically. Is the pressure on AP more from us, the fans, or from the owner himself, Mark Davis?
I feel it's us, the fans, just because how and this ain't just Raiders fans, this is all football fans, how critical and how quickly fans are willing to pull the trigger and call for somebody's head. I mean, you have coaches, first-time coaches, all this with Dan Campbell, not Tampa Bay. I mean, he's another one who's first-year coach, but what was it last year?
The Texans.
Texans, yeah. There you have these first-time coaches, so I think a lot of ownership, because of what you're seeing, the youth movement in coaching, and the fact that you're giving these younger coaches a chance to prove themselves and go. I think with ownership, he has. I mean, unless he completely stinks it up and goes 1-16, I don't think he has anything to worry about from Mark Davis. But us as fans, I think, and I'm not saying us like you and me going, but just in general, Raider Nation, is probably going to be the most pressure coming, and what he's going to have to hear. He heard them call for his name to be hired, and just like this, he could hear for his name being called to be fired, depending on how things go.
Yeah. So do you think that if they, let's say if they don't pull the victory out in this first game, is that the sky is falling, oh my God, oh my God?
Okay, no. If we don't win this first, I'm going to go as far as this. We could lose the first 4 games, and that's going to be the beginning of rumblings, but we've seen too many teams lose these first 4 games and turn around and make the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl because they put it together. They use those 4 games as a but don't get me wrong. We lose the first 4 games, and I guarantee everyone's going to be worrying. You're going to hear grumblings. That's the start of things, and that would be the start of I'm starting to look at the sky because maybe it might start falling. If we go into the fucking week 5 2-2, be happy, go move on. Even Hondo has us going 3-1, hasn't us losing to the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
We're going to lose games. We're going to have, ups and downs. But, really, the only team we should not lose to 100% is Carolina.
And the Broncos. Oh, you said the first 4 games. Never mind.
The first 4 games.
Yeah, because Carolina, didn't they bench their quarterback or their
No, they fucking cut their coach.
Well, no. I mean, who's Bryce Young is the Panthers, right?
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah. I thought he wasn't starting going into the first game. Was he?
I believe he was. He was the number 1 overall pick. I think he started like CJ Stroud did.
Yeah, but no. But I mean, going into this season.
No, he's the starter, I believe.
I heard that. Well, I don't know what I read. I don't know, but the Panthers at home, being that is our home opener, and like you said, Hondo even said that could be homecoming, basically because the Panthers are that bad. So the Raiders should, and they could, and they will beat the Chargers. That should be a lock right there. The Ravens are up in the air, especially going to the East Coast, which historically, not necessarily recently, but historically in the last 10 plus years, the East Coast has been. He's still starting?
He's still starting.
I read that he was almost benched, like he looked that bad, but I don't know. But they should be able. Well, the Ravens would be hard.
Andy Dalton is their backup.
So they got a veteran backup right there, even though he's been bounced around since he left Cincinnati.
Yeah, but he's still. Bryce Young has more upside than Andy Dalton does.
Andy Dalton, I'm surprised he's still in the league. Hey,
where's
John Kitna?
Hey, he's the Red Rifle. Never count him out.
The Red Rifle. Well, anyways, okay. The Raiders should, I would say, at least be 2-2 going into Game 5 versus the Broncos. They should be at least 2-2.
And that's what I said. Even if we're 2-2, the sky is not falling. Even if we're 1-3, the sky is not falling. 0-4, like I said, I'm starting to look up because maybe the sky will start falling. We lose to the Broncos to go 0-5. Now I'm concerned. But I'm not going to fucking sit here and go for the first quarter of the goddamn season because you got to remember, if we go 0-4, who's most likely going to be the starting quarterback?
Aiden O'Connell.
And we've seen what he could do and going. AP said Minshew was the starter because he wanted to start fast. And with the team, and I made my theory known. The first 4 teams are running quarterbacks.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily with plantar's fasciitis or plantar's
fasciitis.
Yeah.
But still, the thing is, like it's 100% healed. They caught it early. You still want to be prepared. You want to prepare your defense for a quarterback who is going to be able to move around. Yeah. And that might be the only thing. We don't know how it's going to go, but I'm not going to go into the fucking Broncos game, thinking the sky is falling unless we're fucking going 0-4. And there should be
going
no
into
reason
the Broncos game
0-4.
as a must-win situation.
Yeah, I'm not going to see that. We start off 2-2, 3-1. I would call that a successful start. We're going to have games that we should win, We don't. We're going to have games that we're not supposed to win, and we do. And then we're going to have those games that we should win, and we will. A good football team beats the teams you're exposed to and finds a way to beat the teams that you're supposed to lose to.
Yeah, and that's one problem the Raiders have had for a while is beating the teams you're supposed to. They'll surprise you and beat a team that we shouldn't be on the same field as. But then when it comes to teams that are, lowly teams, we in the past tend to play to their level, to their
yeah. We play down to their level.
Yeah, and I know a lot of folks will point to last year's 3-0 game, 3-0 game against the Vikings, or the Bears, or the Bears. But as long our defense is going to be key in the beginning of this 4-game stretch right here, starting off the season, this first quarter, because the offense still needs to get acclimated fully. Now it's live bullets. Now it's football situations. Now with starters playing 4 quarters. Yeah, and we're running the offense now. And there is no excuses as of, McDaniels not allowing this, or when AP took over. We don't have that. We only have a skeleton playbook, basically. This is for real now. So the defense is going to have to be the unit that keeps the other teams at bay, while the offense starts to get their legs in.
Again, hold them to a certain amount. Warren Sapp talked about it in I believe it was Kubrick's book. With John Kingdon and Kubrick going, when Lane Kiffin was the goddamn coach, and he's do what you do. Well, what's that mean? Lose? No. Our defense held up, we averaged 19 points. We held with the 19 points. If the offense could do what they need to do, we will do our job. So let's say we can hold them to 17 to 21 points, and we score more than that every game. Those are going to be wins.
Yeah.
The defense needs to do what it does. And right now, under AP, that's only allowing 15.4 points a game.
Yeah.
Let's keep that momentum going. 15.3. I was off by a point. Let's get the takeaways. Let's get to the fucking quarterback. Let's keep the penalties down. And we are in every goddamn game. Yeah. I don't mind losing a hard-fought game. If a game is, you're going back and forth, it's those fucking blowouts I'm tired of. It's those games that we walk into and never had a chance. If we go by a field goal, you go in and it's a hard-fought game and going back and forth, no penalties are done, and they just happen to march far enough and their kicker had an amazing kick and won the game for them that way. Those are losses I can hang my head high on.
They're heartbreakers, though, but yes, I see what you're saying.
Yes. But your team was in it. If the cookie would have crumbled the other way, you could have had that win. I'd rather lose those close games, those hard-fought games, than come out and just watch my team get dismantled the whole fucking game.
Like a lot of those teams right after the Super Bowl where they were just getting blown out. And I remember like the Bronco game I went to, I was up in not Mount Davis, but I was on the other side, up in the 300 section when Peyton Manning, in his later years, of course, playing for the Broncos, threw like 4 touchdowns, and it was like a hot day in Oakland, and it's like, man, I got these free tickets too, and I had 4 of them, and I couldn't even find anybody to take the other 3. So I used one, and I ate the other 3. They were free to me, and I remember those seasons. And yeah, as long as we don't, especially in this first year for AP, going into this his season as head coach, 3rd year in the NFL as a NFL coach, you just want to see that the team is progressing. We do want to see wins, and we can compete with a lot of these teams. We competed with them last year with an offense that was put together every single week. Now we have Getsy's offense set. I keep saying, Adams knows because he ran that he ran that offense in Green Bay. So, and then if you notice Getsy, everyone's talking about how Getsy wasn't that great in Chicago. Who won the quarterback battle in Pittsburgh? So was it the coordinator or was it the quarterback?
Well, and I know Peggy is, very critical of Getsy right now, and he's got to prove himself, which I understand. But I agree with you. I think the quarterback has to take a big part of that blame on that because Getsy tried to do. On top of it, I'm not taking anything away from Getsy. Does Getsy got to take some blame? Yes. But what about Eberflus?
Eberflus.
You know who turned around and basically he had the answer to. If he didn't like the play call, as far as we understand, he might have said, no, I want a different play. Yeah. I don't think Getsy had a chance to be a true offensive coordinator in Chicago because he had a coach that was trying to make a name for himself and he had a quarterback that fucking didn't want to do what was fucking told. He just wanted to run.
Yeah, first instinct. A lot of them in college, when they come out, all these quarterbacks, when they come out, first instinct is to run. Like, no, just trust your offensive line. And going back to what you said about Eberflus, I believe he's an offensive. His knowledge is on the offensive side, I believe. And it's like the question that was asked to AP like a week or so, like a week ago, it was recently. They asked him, so as a defensive coach, it was something that they goes, I'm not a defensive coach, I'm a head coach. Which means like I'm now overseeing everything. Huh?
I think that was a couple days ago.
Yeah, it was recently. And he said, I'm not a defensive coach. I'm a head coach. Yeah, I'm from the defensive side, but I'm a head coach now. And one of the things that AP did was allow, and I keep saying this too, was allow Patrick Graham to let loose. You run your defense. You're the vet. You're the coach that's had a lot of experience in this league. You run your defense the way you feel, the way you see, the way you see it. And I'm pretty sure that he's gonna give Getsy that same kind of freedom. I'm gonna let you call the plays and let you, fill out this offense, and you run the plays that you feel. You be that chess player in this game, and not let the head coach or somebody above him tell him, no, don't do that. Do it this way because it's a safer play, or whatever.
Do you think Getsy starts calling plays from the booth, or do you think he does it from the sideline?
They did ask AP that because of what happened with Patrick Graham going up top, and then the defense was playing even more because he could see more of the field the way he called in. The same thing with Bo Hardigree last year. I think they said he's going to start off on the sideline. I guess it depends, and like AP did say, he'll do what he feels is comfortable because he's the offensive coordinator until we need to make that change. But I think he starts on the field. Probably more so we can talk to the quarterback face to face right then and there. I know Hardigree was that quarterback coach, but now he's trying to take over whole offense. So he wasn't, I'm calling the plays. So let me see from up top, and then I'll have whoever took over for the quarterback coach position, who got brought up, and Hardigree got brought up. Have him deal with the quarterback. So I think Getsy will start off on the ground, start off on the sideline first, and if need be, they will make that change. But I guess I would like for them to have him start up top because it worked out for Patrick Graham, who's been, a defensive coordinator from the sideline for a long time. And he was able to see everything from up top and maybe call even more exotic plays or more different coverages because he's seen certain things from up top, and now from a sideline view where you really can only see what's happening in front of you. So I would want him to be up top, but I think he'll be on the sideline. I don't think AP will make that change, force him to make that change unless they need to make that change.
I can agree with that.
Yes. So oh no, it's only 139. That's at 149. So yeah. Well, on this show, we do a little segment called Know Your History. And one thing that I kind of thought of was, who was the last quarterback for the Raiders that wore 15 and had a mustache. Started off with the LA Raiders, and that was Jeff Hostetler. So I'm thinking like, okay. And then Minshew, number 15 with the mustache. His first game as a Raider will be back in LA. So I figured let's go back in time to 1994 and see some highlights from a game where the Raiders played Monday night against the Chargers, and then they were San Diego Chargers, and then the Raiders were the LA Raiders. So let's go back in time on Know Your History and see highlights. Are you going to click it? You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
See highlights of another mustache man, number 15, playing away in against the Chargers. Let's go.
And all you Raiders out there need to know your fucking history.
One team has totally dominated the historic 25 seasons of ABC's Monday Night Football. From their first win over Washington in 1970 to their final Monday night win in Oakland in 1981.
Watts fields it on his own 48, down to the 50, 45, finds a crease, breaks a tackle at the 40, 35, 30, right side, blockers, 20, 10, 5, touchdown Raiders, and Oakland takes the lead.
To Bo Jackson's incredible 221 yards rushing in 1987, the Raiders have been unrivaled kings of Monday Night Football. Against the Chargers, this commitment to excellence continued.
Glove of the tight end goes in motion to the wide side of the field. Play action fake. Hostetler with ample time. Back to throw. Goes deep down the middle. He's got Alexander Wright wide open to the 25.
The vertical strike to Alexander Wright came on the Raiders' first play. Monday night mastery remained as veteran quarterback Vince Evans temporarily replaced an injured Jeff Hostetler. With Pro Bowl starter Steve Wisniewski protecting, Evans lit the rocket. Defensively, Aaron Wallace contributed one sack and helped Anthony Smith get another. Hostetler returned and found newcomer Wes Bender, number 49, for a crucial gain. James Jett displayed his blazing speed and quickness. And fellow speedster Rocket Ishmael broke free on an end around, then caught a game-winning touchdown pass.
Jones with the play fake. Hostetler back to pass. Guns it over the middle. Touchdown Raiders!
After 25 years, Monday Night Football still belonged to the silver and black.
Hey, another time, wasn't Hostetler from the Giants?
Hostetler was from the Giants. Hostetler was from the Giants, winning for Phil Simms.
After that Super Bowl year.
Yeah, and then he came to the Raiders and he finished his career with the Redskins, Commanders.
Giants, Redskins. Giants.
The Command Skins.
Hey,
Jeff Hostetler. I mean, I guess I saw similarities. It's like he came in and Minshew was not a Super Bowl winning quarterback that came into the Raiders because Al Davis liked to get those Super Bowl MVPs or, those guys who were just on the Super Bowl team and put you on a team so we can get back to our glory years. But moving around the pocket, having to scramble when he needed to, run, throwing deep, Tim Brown, James Jett, those guys. I feel like it's
come on, we had Jets and Rockets. I mean, Jesus Christ, we had speed on that team.
And you've seen the defense just smothering the quarterback. So I know I see some similarities, and starting off in LA where AP was, where his Raider fandom started when the Raiders were in LA and he was living down there in the LA area in Compton. So I figured that was a perfect video to play for Know Your History. And I just think that's the type of team that this Raider team will be, is that hard nosed, just scratching and clawing to win the game. So I figured there was a similarity there. So that's why I chose that video for Know Your History.
And now we got the Hostetler and AP connection, same teams. I mean, come on. I mean, it's starting to come together, right?
Oh, yeah. The Giants and Redskins. Yeah, you said that on. Yeah.
I mean, what more can you ask? I mean, everyone wants to call Minshew, a Gannon, a snake, a fucking, he's got all kinds of comparisons. So why can't we go back to glory years?
The end of LA going into the Oakland years, the Haas. They used to call him the Haas. Haas is the boss. You got Minshew Mania and you got the Haas. Guard dog and the Haas.
Guard dog
and the Haas. So
yeah, I really think Minshew has more pressure on him than AP does right now.
Yeah, and maybe picking Minshew not just because of his being a veteran, being around the league, and playing with different teams and playing different offenses. He has that cool personality. Like, he doesn't seem like someone that could get riled up or down on himself. And not trying to say that he partakes in anything, but yeah, man, he's it's all good, man.
On the bone.
Yeah. The hell are you talking about? So he's just that,
Of their own.
He's just that I'm that cool dude, man. Just want to go out there with the guys. And
I'm sorry, I think he partakes.
I say he's like the Matthew McConaughey in Dazed and Confused. All right. Gonna go out there and
all right.
Win some football games, and fall asleep on the football field. So stoned out. So
I don't know if he's that much of a panty dropper like fucking Matthew McConaughey is, though.
He got the stash. So okay, the ladies went from Jimmy Garoppolo to the
Uncle
porn
Rico.
stash to Uncle Rico. He's not daddy, he's uncle. No. That was Brian. I was mean. I'm sorry. Sorry, censorships. That's not a funny joke. But I'm just saying I feel like Minshew and then like I said,
Minshew is really chilled out. Anna said it best for us.
Yes. He's just chilled out. He's just out there, man. I just want to go out there. Just give me a chance, man. I'm gonna show you what I can do.
Let the cosmos come to me, and I'll show you what can be done in the cosmos when the stars align and everything goes. It's going to be a Raiders Super Bowl, man. I'm telling you.
Oh man, just chill out, bro. When you think of wins, you think of dubs, and when I think of wins, I think of doobs. Doobie, go to doobie.com. So I feel like Minshew starting off. Okay, I know we were a team, or not. We still are Team Ramrod right there. Team Ramrod.
Yep.
But, Minshew Mania, maybe he's Min Shroom Mania. I don't know. Just Min Shroom. Min Shroom, there you go.
Hey, he ain't smoking. He's taking something, I'm telling you.
This is for me to be invincible, man, All I see is colors, and don't throw to the colors, throw to the silver and black. I know what to do now.
All I taste is colors.
I'm just I can smell sounds. So I feel like Minshew going in, he's gonna be cool, calm, and collected. Right there. So we should be fine. And being that he's able to be mobile, run around, especially if our offensive line they are dinged up
and questionable. This is the first time they've really got to play together in positions. Colton Miller's been out all of preseason. Now he's coming in. You're putting Mumford back on the right. You got, Glaze. I mean, Pete. You got this thing. So, yeah, the offensive line is going to take a few games to mesh. And once they do, I don't think there's going to be a problem. But for those first few games, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why AP chose Minshew, because of the mobility alone and knowing it's going to take time for that offensive line to mesh. And once they do, he may pull that trigger. And, Team Ramrod comes in and just fucking shows everybody what he was about and takes over that starting job forever.
As of right now, the depth chart says from left to right, Colton Miller, left tackle, Cody Whitehair, the veteran from the Bears, at left guard. So he knows the system too, coming from the Bears. So he knows how the blocking schemes will be for a Getsy offense. Of course, Andre James is the center. Dylan Parham stays. Well, no, he's on the right side. He was on the left side last year, I believe. Dylan Parham's on the right side playing right guard.
And then, both sides.
Well, yeah. But I think he was primarily on the left, right?
Primarily,
yeah. So he'll be on the right side.
But he also played, center? Because we liked him at center for a game or two.
Yeah. So, and then Thayer Mumford will be the starting right tackle. So your tackles will be going against Bosa and Mack. But I do believe with our tight ends, especially with Mayer
and our running backs and everybody else.
Yeah, they'll find ways to neutralize those rushing ends if they do, in fact, get hot early in the game. I do believe that Getsy and his coaching staff will not allow their quarterback to get killed back there, especially if they want to start. This is serious business now. This is not pride like it was with McDaniels. I'm going to show you that he wasn't ready. O'Connell wasn't ready. No, this is now, we're out there to win. No matter how we do it, no matter how ugly it's going to be, we're out there to win. And especially if we can get 1-0 and it's against a hardball team. And they even asked AP too, is there a player bulletin board type of stuff? This man here could have had your job. He goes, no, I got all the respect in the world. Plus, I'm the one standing here. I'm the one standing here on this Raider podium as a head coach for the Raiders.
I'm the head coach. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't make me do it.
I'm here.
So,
I'm talking right now.
Don't touch me. So, the Raiders, they should be 1-0 as long as, she was talking about Anna was talking about Justin Herbert. If he takes one wrong step, that could be his foot. But as long as the Raiders don't do nothing mentally that can shoot themselves, I feel that it'll be a tight game. At worst, it'll be a tight loss. But the Raiders should come out, and they should come out with a victory in SoFi in front of all those Raider fans that are down there partying this weekend. So they'll be out there blocking out that stadium. Raiders! It should be a great game, and we should come back this coming Wednesday, or this Wednesday coming up, and talk about a Raider victory and going for 2-0 in Baltimore.
All right. Are we starting the Friday show next week for Baltimore?
It is scheduled, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not this week, because of course we already talked about the Chargers for
not this Friday. No.
But
after Sunday, we should have a Wednesday and go back to our Friday show.
Yes. The Friday rundown of the team we're playing against, that quick hour show to talk about the game. That's coming up, depth charts, injury reports, and any other last minute news going into the weekend of the Raiders, whoever team they face that following weekend. The Chargers. The Chiefs do have a game tomorrow night. Of course, they kick off the season. Will you be watching that game just because it's football? Just because I want to see the Chiefs go down? I forgot who they're playing against, though.
Baltimore.
But they're playing against Baltimore. Oh, so that could be an AFC Championship game.
I mean, so technically, yes, you're watching the game to see how well Baltimore is for week 2 because we're playing them in week 2. You know, we got to get, dirt on that one. Watching it for the hopeful loss of the Chiefs because I want to be able to just walk in on Friday and talk shit. As well as, it's football. It's Thursday. I try to catch Thursday and Monday Night Football even if the Raiders aren't playing because, I'm a football fan. And when you do a podcast, you got to watch these other games. Otherwise you're just talking out your side of your neck off of fucking numbers and not seeing the little shit that could help make or break a game, for your team when you go up against them.
Yeah. So, Thursday, we'll see what I'm doing. We'll see how I feel. We will talk about the NFL scores of the week. It. Yeah, I mean, I'll see the highlights, I guess. I can't stand. They said that Taylor Swift is also in the coaching room, writing plays for them.
He's drawing up plays.
Yeah,
I heard that too.
Yeah.
I hope they use him, and that leads to a sack and maybe another knee dislocation or something like that.
I wanted to be like what was his name? Harrison, the actor, and he played the quarterback for the college team. The actor, he was in Cheers. Harrison something Harrison.
Woody Harrelson.
Harrelson, yeah. I hope when the Raiders play the Chiefs, they're out there. Quarterback Minshew. Down, set. Taylor's a whore. What'd he say? What did he say about my girl?
Hey, that's one way to get into Chelsea's head.
You get it riled up, and we can have an early Christmas.
You start going out there telling the truth, and it kind of gets in people's heads. They don't like that.
Taylor Swift's whore said go. So, all right. With that said, that is our show. I was trying to see, I was going to get a shout out to Homer, but I don't know if he's coming on next. If Homer's coming on next, go to, where is my banners over here? Go to Section 105 Media Network. I was trying to see if he's coming on next. I don't see his,
no, and Captain's talking about he has a new show. You go back into the comments. He had to leave. He didn't leave right away, but he has a show he was doing today, right after us too.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm trying to find it right here. Impromptu. I'll be doing an impromptu show at 9.
Go to Captain's. Yeah, sorry, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, go ahead and go see Captain. He made an appearance on ours. It's after ours, and he did make sure kept saying after our show, go and watch it. So he knows the importance. So yes, go support Captain. Go support Homer.
And during the game, check out, and I had the banner. Check out one of our favorite contributors to the comment section. Chalk Talk with Coach D on YouTube. He does commentary.
That's earlier.
With the game. Hopefully the YouTube gods don't try to shut him down. But go to his page because he'll be out there doing his show during the game. If you don't want to listen to it, because I think it's Jim Nance and the quarterback, the ex-quarterback, his name, Jessica Simpson's guy. So so if you don't want to listen to them, go to Coach D on Chalk Talk with Coach D on YouTube. Check him out. With that said, Asylum, any last words going into this final show before the regular season starts? Any last words?
Raiders.
Raiders in LA. You're going to hear that throughout the stadium. True home game down there. Blacked out. Raider fans in LA, shouts out to all you guys. Shouts out real quick to Polo Rodriguez. He had a birthday recently. And Demon King, who had a birthday recently. So shouts out to them. With that said, thank you very much for watching. Go to Captain's channel. Go to Homer's channel if he goes live. Support them because they support us. And with that said, we end the show like we usually do. Like always, we keep the memory alive of Raider Milt or Coach Wallace, to those in my area who went to my high school. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And go Raiders! We're going 1-0. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah. Dig it.
All you other NFL teams, your tailgates are weak. Your teams are weak. We might be down right now, but it doesn't take away the history. And all you Raiders out there need to know your fucking history of who the fuck you playing for and where the fuck you're playing. Damn it. Oh, and by the way, I won my last cage fight. Again, I'm still undefeated. And you NFL motherfuckers out there that you think you want some, come on and get some anytime.